Perfect Talkers, back like we never left. It's your man DJPLICCAPLAYBOY. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get right to it. On this episode, we're going to talk about Morant showing off a gun on social media. Because, you know, that's what real gangsters do, right? We also talk about Patrick Mahomes' little brother, Jackson Mahomes, forcibly kissing a restaurant owner. That's not playing, man. We also going to give our reaction to the Chris Rock Selective Outrage Comedy Special, give our feedback on Lil Uzi Vert's Rollin loud performance, and also, Kim Kardashian dressed her daughter up like Ice Spice against her father's wishes. We're going to debate about that as well. That and much, much more, man. Stay tuned. What's good, Josh? Your man DJPLAYBOY back with another episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. And you know we daylight saving these hoes over here, man. I don't like doing an episode without my partner, my guy, Spec. What it do, brother?
Yes, sir. What's good, Playboy? Chilling, another day, another dollar.
Spec in the building, man. Y'all see him live in HD. Shout out to everybody tuning in on YouTube. We see you out there. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to everybody listening traditionally on the podcast. You know what I mean? I do that too. How you been, brother?
Man, long week. Glad it's Friday. TGIF.
Daylight savings this weekend, though. We're going to lose that hour. You ain't know? Yeah. That shit snuck up on everybody. You second person I told that shit too.
Damn, man. I already be tired. Losing that hour, you feel it.
Yeah, no, and it's dangerous. There be accidents. They say the day after there be a lot of OSHA complaints in the job, a lot of OSHA accidents and shit like that. So, nah, shit go down because people don't get that hour of sleep and they take it for granted. They think you just keep it like normal. I even noticed when I woke up this morning, the sun was out. I was like, okay.
It's been out, I say, for the past almost 2 weeks now. I feel like when I get up, it's already. I'm like, wow. Okay.
I thought I woke up late. Because, I mean, technically, I usually wake up like 5 a.m. and then I woke up at 6. But I'm seeing the sun and shit. I'm like, oh, yeah. Y'all got to drop this kid to school now. But, no, other than that, man, everything been good. Allergy season came in heavy. Heavy, bro.
It's getting there.
I had one of the worst allergy, just attacks. I don't know what you call it yesterday. Like, just in the crib. The indoor allergies hit me hard. And then, I couldn't find my, what's the joint called? Visine. Okay. So I'm like panicking because my shit dry as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Shit's going crazy. And then like, I'm searching all over for it. I usually keep it in one spot. Searched over, finally found it. It was like a lifesaver. And then I was telling you, like, I was like, today I'm going to get the Claritin. I'm going to get the official joint. I went in there and it was locked. It was locked behind, so you got to ask somebody to open it. Come to find out.
Is everything locked up in that section? Or is it just like certain things?
Just the store, not the store. I don't think the store brands were locked up.
Okay.
So I don't think the CVS version, because I was at CVS, was locked up. But the Claritin was locked up. But I didn't. It took me a second. I'm looking above. I'm like, what's this Claritin D? And then the girl tried to front like she knew the answer. She like, oh, this one's non-drowsy. I'm like, no, they both say non-drowsy. Then she just gave up. She's like, the pharmacist will let you know. So I guess you got to take the card over to the pharmacist and there's the drink. So I took them both and the joint's behind the counter. And I'm asking the pharmacist, I'm like, well, what's the difference? And then she goes, well, it has that ingredient. Which I didn't realize she just couldn't pronounce it.
That ingredient.
Yeah, she's like, well, it has that ingredient. And I'm like, what is the ingredient? What are you talking? I'm like, and then I was like, you know what? It don't even matter. I'm like, is it stronger than this one? And she's like, yes, it's better. She's like, it clears up the sign. I'm like, yes, then give me that. Let's go. Let's rock with it. And then it was actually not that much expensive. I'm like, what's the point of 2? Why they got 2? They trying to fool people. Like, what? I don't even get it. Like. Because some people, like me, didn't... only reason I knew there was 2 was because I remember when the commercial came out, they were like, you don't have to get it from behind the counter. Okay. I remember that commercial. But I didn't know it was a whole different, like, formula.
Right.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, oh, they changed the laws or whatever the case may be. Wrong. But nah, the allergy season came in early and hit heavy. And it caught up with your boy, so I had to get back on the sauce. You know what I mean? And my kid, she might have to. I don't know. I'll be wary about that, like, because I didn't start having allergies till I was much older.
Okay.
In life, and I'm like, man, you get a kid on allergy medicine. Is that just a lifetime bill now that you got them on, or are you not letting their own immune system take it? But when they going through it, you're going through it, man. I told you I was one of the realest attacks I ever had, man. What you been up to though? You was out of town.
I was out of town.
Yeah, where'd you go?
Last week. Went to Puerto Rico for my birthday.
Puerto Rico. Now, do you need a passport to go to Puerto Rico?
No. You don't have to go through customs and nothing like that.
Sweet.
It's considered part of the U.S., so it's like traveling anywhere else.
No, that's good. I don't know why I was thinking. I've been to Puerto Rico once, but I think only because like my flight was delayed or canceled.
Okay.
Maybe it was a connecting flight. I think we were going to Grenada or something like that.
Okay.
Or I don't care remember, but it was. I do remember we spent the night there, but I only seen the hotel. But how was the trip?
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
We didn't do too much except relax. On the beach, the pool, eat.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed at the resort most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron and I ventured off the resort once, just right across the street to a park. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it was great. The weather, it only rained once for like 5 minutes while we was there.
Okay.
Every other time, it was 85 and sunny.
Sweet.
So, yeah, we had a really good time.
Is Puerto Rico still hit from, what was it, the hurricane? That was.
What about it?
Are they still experiencing, there's parts of Puerto Rico that still experience, like
recovery type shit? I would assume so, but I wasn't, we stayed in San Juan.
Okay.
That's the touristy area.
Okay.
So
that's
you
the capital?
Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to tell that there was a hurricane, and destroyed mad shit there a few years ago.
Because they keep the capital looking the best. So
right.
Yeah, like everywhere. That's dope though. You had a good time? I
did. I mean, it kind of felt like San Juan specifically kind of felt like home, I rented a car and, I didn't, normally when I didn't leave the country, but kind of left the country. Mm-hmm. And normally when I do that, I don't drive or nothing like that. But I felt comfortable because, the signs, road signs are English. It looked like home, literally. Mm-hmm. Aside from the palm trees, you wouldn't know that you was not, home.
That's like night and day from the a situation out in Mexico that we just heard about on that's scary for people like vacationing, I guess, especially if you don't speak the language or wherever it is you're going.
Right.
It's not even a topic that I want to think of, but I'm just thinking like how, you traveling. Like, I mean, actually, I was thinking when you had left, wasn't it like a bad travel week? A lot of flights were getting canceled or something like that. Yeah, because of the snowstorm. Yeah. Snowstorm. And they were saying that mad flights were canceled. And I was like, you made it right. You made it out.
Yeah, I was like, right. As soon as I got back, there was a storm the next day.
Right. Oh,
and
really?
There was a storm 2 days before.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
I remember seeing it on like the little Echo, the Amazon joint about how many flights are canceled. I'm like, my man Spec just took it. He's talking to us from the flight, from the vacation.
Watching them flight trackers while we was there. Like, man, I hope.
Oh yeah, because on the way back, then you could have been dealing with cancellations too. Yeah, that's 100% true. But God willing, you made it back safely, man. That's good to hear. I get nervous when you travel to this day, man. To this day, bro. Because back in the day, man, I got a call one time. I was nervous for my guy Spec, but he made it back safely, so we happy. What's going on, man? What you other than that though? What you been up to since you've been back? Just get
working.
Back to
Just working. I used up a bunch of my time, so just been hard on the grind, daily grind.
You know what I did today that I haven't done in a long time? I listen to R&B music. I listened to some old Usher, and then it sent me down a rabbit hole. But I you know what I did? I listened to R. Kelly.
Okay,
I did. I'm gonna admit it, man. I listened to some R. Kelly.
That's all right.
I feel like I'm confessing here, like Usher. Listen, because he did something wrong that I can't enjoy good music. Like, we
can talk about this because I have a bit of a nuanced perspective. That if you asked me a whole year ago, I would have.
Yeah. Well, you know what was funny too? I don't feel guilty about it because one, I don't think R. Kelly owns his masters, and two, I didn't pay for him the first time I listened to him because I heard all R. Kelly albums on bootleg. Or I download them. I remember I looked at the joint because I listened to Ignition today, and I'm like, "This the cover? This what the Chocolate Factory cover look like?" I was like, "I never seen it live and in HD, in bright color." But no, you know what it is, and I don't know if you saw the Chris Rock special.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, but it's called Selective Outrage. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about it a little later because I seen some things. I got some things to say on it, but. The point is, like, we decide what we want to be mad at, and he was juxtaposing it with Will Smith deciding to be mad at him when the whole world was coming at him. And it's true. It's actually really true because I've just come to the point now, right? And we do it with, I feel like, when it's television, if it's a movie, even like, I'll use the Bill Cosby example. If you put the Cosby Show on right now, right, and it's like one of them classic scenes that like I remember and it's a funny scene, I'm not going to feel uncomfortable watching it because I can separate the art from the artist in that sense. And it's a cast, you know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody in that cast ain't predators, you know what I'm saying? So there's still, just because you did something bad doesn't mean something that you didn't make art or you didn't make something funny. And like in the case of R. Kelly, it is he was a great musician, great songwriter, great person like that, and not great person, excuse me, definitely not a great person, but I just don't care if that makes sense, and I don't mean that to be like cold or be like, it's like, why? How come when I can watch a movie, right, and you could be like, oh well, this person, Sean Penn, I don't want to pick on people, but this person beat his wife or whatever, or beat up Madonna or something like that, and it's like, but it doesn't take away from the movie experience at all. Right. So why are we doing that with the music? Another thing that it made me think of was because I started listening to older music just because I like older music. I think older music was better, like older being like 90s, early 2000s. I was listening to Ether, Nas Ether, right? And I'm like, it's a good song, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, some of the lyrics, right? Is like, can he perform this if he in 2022? Like he using the F gay slur, you know, the F word. That's a gay slur. He's using he says Rockefeller dies of AIDS, which I don't even know is true. I don't you know what I mean? And then he said, you know, he called him Gay Z, I think at a certain point. And I don't think he wants to perform it because I think they're cool now, and it's a weird song to perform. But isn't that what the baby got canceled for? Literally, like talking about people with AIDS, HIV. Oh yeah, I mean, but being homophobic.
Actually talking about it in today's time versus Nas.
Yeah, versus Nas. Yeah. But I'm saying it's selective. It's like we getting mad at something now, where a person like the baby, and I'm not defending the baby, but he could be like, well, how come Nas was allowed to say it and I'm not?
Back in the day, he was allowed to say it, just like.
Well, we know back in the day because we was alive for it. I don't know how old the baby is, you know what I'm saying? But let's say he's, I don't know, like 20
he's
something.
Younger than us.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how they consume it. Like for us, we see the change. Like, cause we like, oh, Eddie Murphy was saying this in his stand up. Or live on stage, he was using the gay slur, like as part of, and everyone in the crowd laughed at it. So, and then I think we have enough nuance to be like where that was at that time to now.
Right.
Whereas somebody that's like reaches adulthood now or reaches coming of age might be looking at it and be like, oh, that's allowed? Or that,
yeah, no,
someone on stage is allowed. But you know what I'm saying? You can see why they'd be confused about that.
They shouldn't be confused.
They shouldn't be, but that doesn't mean that.
They're not confused.
You don't think so?
I don't think he knew that it would get him. He thought he was going to get chairs from that. You know? Yeah, I don't think he thought about it on that level. Yeah. Like if I say this, I think he was just talking freely.
And I don't even exactly. I don't think he was doing it to be rebellious or anything. Like
talking.
He thought that was going to get cheers from the crowd.
Yeah, I mean,
which I'm sure in certain rooms he's been in, it has. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you would pull him aside, right? In any other situation, be like, "Yo, I don't think." You know what I mean? And I think that's unfair what happened to him, to be honest with you. Now, did he handle it the best? No. He kind of doubled down, or he kind of did some weird apologies that didn't seem. But it's also like he was like he was on top of the game.
Cancel culture just in general is unfair because we all make mistakes and we don't deserve. We're in a place where now if you make a mistake and you're like you deserve to just be done. Like all your bread done. That's what it's come down to, and that should not be the case. It's okay for somebody to be wrong. You tell them that they're wrong without being on some let's cancel this person.
But we don't even cancel everybody the same. It's like
no, everybody does. It all depends on your level of remorse for what we telling you that we didn't like that you did. That like there's a lot of factors that play into it on how bad we're gonna try and cancel you.
Because Whoopi Goldberg got treated differently for making anti-Semitic comments, which I don't think she purposely was trying to make anti-Semitic comments, but they were taken as that. She got treated differently than Kyrie and Kanye did.
Right.
And like you said, their level of remorse kind of came off.
It boils down to that.
Yeah, like they shrugged it off, and maybe she was a little bit more apologetic. She did her time, right? She was off her show for a little bit. You said you had a nuanced view about the R. Kelly thing.
Yeah, so like it went from like for decades of I'm separating the artist from the actual act, what he did in his personal life that has nothing to do with the music itself. And this was pre me having a child, right? That's how I felt. He was still a GOAT up until 2017. Then I have a child, and once I had a child, then it put different perspective on what it is that he did. And then I was like, it's hard for me to just thinking about what he did to a kid. What if that was my kid? It's hard for me to listen to him for a period of, we'll just say, 4 years. I could not listen to, if R. Kelly came on, I had to turn it off. Then we'll say, like 6 months ago, I listen to R&B all the time. When you have it on shuffle, random music comes on. So R. Kelly
and you
comes
listen
on.
and I don't mean this in a weird way. You listen to a lot of R. Kelly. You were an R. Kelly fan, like
as far as I was.
I grew out of like listening to R. Kelly albums. You were still buying them albums.
R. Kelly's the GOAT.
I'm like trapped in the closet. What number? You the only one. You still buying them R. Kelly albums. So I gotta believe that, like, I don't know if you Spotify or your streaming might even think that you want that type of music. You know what I mean? But that was pre-streaming. Like, you bought a lot of CDs and stuff like that. Yeah,
right. But nonetheless, like in the last 6 months, I'll be listening, and R. Kelly will come on, and I will find myself being like 3/4 away through the song. Oh, you ain't skip over this? I'm singing it. I'm like, oh shit, damn, should I be doing this? And then it then got to the point where I'm like, all right, now if you're questioning if you should even be you clearly like his music. You clearly want to play his music, so just do it, right? And then I start thinking, well, there's still certain songs I still can't listen to because I can't get the image out of my head with if he's talking about certain sex things that he's talking about a kid. But there are still, like, when if it's a song that has nothing to do with sex, I'm bumping it and I'm singing it, all of that. When it starts,
step in the name of love.
Yeah, I'm going hard. But when it starts having to do with sex, it's just I'm not there fully yet.
And I might not be either. I can't say.
But I'm sure in 2 years it may all be over, and I'm singing all the nasty shit again.
Well, when I listen to R. Kelly, whatever the song was about, right? Whether it was about partying or him, like whatever. If he's just more sexual songs, I would say I don't envision R. Kelly or any artist doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of envision it in my own.
I'm a very visual person.
But I think more so where I was at when I heard the song, or a person that I was with, that, when I listened to that song. I don't necessarily see. That's why the artist doesn't bother me. Like, Chris Brown was, obviously, he got in trouble for domestic violence things. But I don't. I guess I'm just really good at compartmentalizing. I just like his music. I don't care about his life. I'm not.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we do live in an era where you listen to their music, you are supporting the artist.
Yes. In
most cases. But I don't know. It's like I can't it's entertainment.
Right.
It is entertainment, and if we are selectively choosing who we're gonna do that with. Because your favorite TV shows might have been produced by someone who got caught up in the Me Too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so now is that cool? Like, that's cool because he's profiting off of that. He made money off of that, or, you know what I mean? He gets a royalty check every time someone watches that. So it's like, it gets to a weird point where now we're trying to be police, and it's like, I just want to listen to music. I just want to listen to entertainment. So I don't know. It put me in a weird, just thinking area of just how, we got to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, I mean that's the human element of it all, and so I mean it is what it is. Like, some people can easily separate it. Like, for the longest time, the R. Kelly shit happened when I was in high school. So, or maybe started in high school, because I was like, 98, 99? Like, so I was just starting high school. So, but forever, I mean, almost over a decade, I didn't really care.
And even before that, like the Aaliyah, like, you know what I'm saying? You're right. Yeah,
I didn't care about that. And Chris Brown, I mean, I don't support beating women, but
why do you listen to a song gotta mean that you support? That's what I'm saying. Like, why does it, like, or if I watch the NFL, I support, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're separating. Right. We're trying to connect two things that aren't equal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Romans went out to watch the gladiators, they wasn't supporting whatever crime got the gladiators in the Coliseum. Right. They was there to see them fight.
To watch the fight.
And it's like, no, but I can't watch a Floyd fight because Floyd does dumb shit in his real life. It's like, no, I'm gonna enjoy a fight. Right. You know what I mean?
He's gonna get the money anyway, so you're just hurting yourself. You
might as well see the show, right?
Exactly.
Man, speaking about sports, man, we got a new segment over here on Perfect Talk. This one's called ESPT. You know, entertainment, sports, and perfect talk, man. And you got a couple sports topics. You know what I'm saying? Some of these are just sporty, sportish, but they sport related. But starting with my guy John Morant over there in Memphis. You seen the video?
I did.
John Morant. It looks like he's in a. Where is he at? Did they?
I don't know where he's at. But...
Is it a house party, a club, or his crib? Yeah. I got no idea, but I think it's shirtless, right? Yeah, shirtless. So comfortable enough to be shirtless, and is doing some weird dance,
with
rapping. Rapping some song. I think that's what makes it the cornier to me, like the rapping of the song, and then holding the gun in like a weird kind of way, like like Bishop in like in Juice when he first put. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That was just weird. Like, to do it on, what was he on live?
He was on his IG.
Yeah.
Nobody else's but his.
It just seemed weird.
It was crazy to me because a week before that came out that Washington Post report about him beating up the 17-year-old and flashing the gun. And so then when I seen that, I'm like, oh, this must be an old clip.
But the report was, that when did that altercation happen?
That happened last year.
Yeah, okay. And it just came out. Like,
Washington Post just reported about it.
Because they got the exclusive on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they got it, but they just reported about it.
Well, NBA cover up shit all the time. I'd imagine NFL, all these people, they got the feds working with them and all that shit. So they probably cover up stories all the time, but that one just couldn't stay covered. And that was a wild one. And then I think before that was it the Utah Jazz, I believe, that he had an altercation with, and then his peoples got into something in the back with them as they were getting on the bus, and they reported that they pointed lasers at them. Yeah,
I didn't hear about that until this most recent stuff.
Okay, yeah, because I think they didn't have no video. There's nothing to really prove that happening, and it kind of came across like a, you know, like, hey, I'm John Morant, I'm Scarface. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want, you know what I'm saying, and y'all gonna have to deal with it.
He's young and dumb. I mean, you're gonna have to learn real quick.
He got like $100 million, over $100 million contract, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the star of the team.
Yeah,
you know, can't be doing them things.
That's
The only thing he has going for him right now is he's young, so you know he's gonna get the slap on the wrist because that's all it'll be. He may lose some endorsement dollars,
but he's out. But he's out what for how long?
Right now, like yesterday, they released he's gonna be out at least for another 4 games. And who knows what happens after that? He's not gonna get he's gonna get back on the court soon.
Yeah.
He still has his NBA money, so I mean, I'm sure he may lose some endorsement dollars, but
I don't think Nike's let him go.
No, they didn't let him go.
Said, Nike always Nike be supporting some people. Y'all want to talk about?
Listen, we just gonna go over here for a minute. We'll be back. We gonna go in the store.
Nike would have kept R. Kelly on the roster. Well, we're gonna let this whole thing breathe over. We're gonna be right back to making music, man. But that's a little. Yeah, Ja, come on, man. I'm tired of seeing dudes acting ignorant, you know what I'm saying? Especially one that's got such a draw on the youth. All the kids are doing the gritty because, you know what I mean, because he's doing it. And anything that he makes is a trend, you know what I'm saying? So it's he
clearly wasn't thinking, but he has to start.
Yeah, he's too old for that. That's Bronny James doing some shit like that makes sense, but that just
he's only 23. Think about where you was at.
Oh yeah, no, I'm so happy social media was not.
I'm saying
it was. The cameras were really grainy and social media was really young. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely.
It was nothing like it is
Nah.
today. I definitely would have gotten a whole lot of trouble.
Nah. Another person, man. These kids in the videos, man, got knowing the cameras is around. You know what I'm saying? Because Jackson Mahomes, he's wilding in these streets, man.
You know who my brother is?
If you don't know who his brother is, Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? His brother been a wild boy since last season. I heard something like, remember when I think it was his wife and the brother were always making TikTok videos and the fans hated them. And I think Pat said, yo, don't come to my games no more. Like, y'all causing too much of a distraction. Like, it's too much of a weird energy when y'all come around. And then Jackson Mahomes just be out here in the streets. I be seeing wild videos of him all over the place. And this latest one was him forcibly kissing the owner of a restaurant and lounge. Aspen Vaughn was the lady and the manager that he kisses in the video. You see him just grab her face and kiss her.
Give me them lips.
Yeah. And then leaves and then comes back and does it again, like on the video. And it's weird. It's weird to watch. I think he's friends with her stepdaughter. That's what Aspen Vaughn, the lady, came out and said.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you did that to your homegirls' moms?
Stepmoms, yeah. He's 22 years old, and I think he also got into an altercation with a male waiter that was 19 years old on that same time. And it's just he's a big guy. He's not a little dude at all. Like, you know what I'm saying. So in this video, he's definitely forced himself on her and made her feel really uncomfortable.
Does he play football?
No, I don't think so. Not that I know of. If he's not on that level to the point where anyone would care about him. But yeah, and he's 22. If he was gonna have a name, then it would have been somebody by now. But it's just, I don't know. That's hard to watch. I hate seeing shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And whatever the case, why he felt comfortable enough to do that?
Because he's done it before with no repercussions. That's the only reason why you see shit like that. Yeah. It's not the first time.
That's true. Yeah.
And you have to think, most of the time, I'd say the average chick would have no problem with that, with him doing it, because of who he is.
Yeah, I don't know what his experiences are, but he does seem like, you know what I mean, that's like, you know, he's into the ladies.
Just like a lot of these sports players, Deshaun Jackson, like...
I won't say the average chick. I would say... the girls that he probably comes across in bars and nightclubs, but...
the average chick likes fame, likes bling, likes, you know, it just is what it is.
Yeah. And he's TikTok famous, but I don't know, you know what I'm saying... I don't think like a 40-year-old woman's gonna care about that.
See, I don't care. I'm not counting them. Yeah, they're out the pasture. I'm talking about.
No, I know what you said. He probably goes places and people are like, "That's Patrick Mahomes' brother," and girls give him attention just because of it. But yeah, I mean, he gonna learn. He gonna learn the hard way. Unfortunately, another sports news, man. There's a coach. His name is Mark Adams out in Texas Tech. He was suspended actually at first, and actually he stepped down from his position, but he was talking to a player on his team. That's why he was initially suspended. He was encouraging a athlete to be more receptive to coaching.
Okay. And
he referenced Bible verses that had to deal with workers, teachers, parents, and slaves serving their masters.
Okay.
So that kind of got him in hot water, and I think he just stepped down from the position.
Is this coach black, white?
He's white.
Okay.
Player black.
Oh, okay.
And it basically the point of what he was trying to get across to the player was like, I guess he felt like the player wasn't listening. They've actually had other altercations this season.
Okay.
Where the player felt like he spit on him, and the coach was like, you know, I was just talking, and he probably spit while he talked, and you know, this is already weird between you and the player, like more and more something like that. Servants and masters is just bad. I don't know, choice of words.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Better.
Because you're coaching black kids, and you got to know that you're, you know what I mean, a white man, how that's going to come across, you know what I mean?
Gots to.
And people don't even have time to figure out if you were trying to be racist or not. It's just like, you just
but people are going to automatically say, you're being racist.
Yeah, 100%. And... yeah, I don't know. It's a bad choice of words, bro. That's like, but you wouldn't even use that in employer situation where you're actually paying the kids to, you know what I mean, to play for you or work for you or whatever the case may be. Like, I mean, then maybe you'd have a little bit more grounds. You're not paying them nothing to get out of here, you know, white massa. Did you hear Sean Kemp got caught up in a drive-by shooting?
I heard you say that. I thought you was joking. Like Sean Kemp.
You gotta make that up.
You're old as hell. What you talking about?
Former NBA star Sean Kemp. But he was arrested, but he was also released without charges after being detained in a connection with a drive-by shooting incident. Yeah.
So, I mean, if he's released without charges, I mean, was he doing a drive-by? Like, what was...
I don't even know what the term drive-by comes into this, because it says, according to a police news release, officers responded to the reports of shots fired in a parking lot of the Tacoma Mall just before 2 p.m. On Wednesday. The officers determined people from two vehicles had an altercation, and one person fired several shots. Oh, so I guess it was a drive-by because maybe they didn't leave their car? and they shot at the other car. I'm assuming and drove away. The victim vehicle fled the area. Officers located the suspected shooter, who was still on a mall property, and detained him without incident, according to the news release. But it didn't identify that was Kemp. Also said they recovered a gun, so I mean, maybe he has really good lawyers and was able to, you know what I'm saying, like, wiggle himself out of it, or...
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Sean Kemp has a cannabis company, Sean Kemp's Cannabis, and they I guess they reached out to them for a comment, wasn't able to find anything from that area. So I don't know. I guess we'll see, because they said he was no charge to be filed at this time, but pending further investigation. It was Seattle, I think, or Washington State, excuse me.
So I wonder if the victim was trying to maybe rob him or something like that, and
because of the laws and
him defending himself or something like that.
We'll see. But I did see that headline. I was like, what the hell, Sean Kemp? Sean Kemp was a beast in the league, bro. Remember back in the day, like
sure.
Or in video games, just
NBA Jam, Sean Kemp.
Because you got to play with him and Gary Payton, right?
Yep. For all you youngins out there, NBA Jam. Classic.
Or even NBA Live. Remember them lives?
That's still they still make live.
They still make live, but I'm saying, but it went back. Like Live 9-5. You know what I'm saying? They go all the way back. Yeah. I remember when it was called Bulls versus Blazers or Lakers versus Celtics, so they picked the two teams that was in the the finals. Yeah.
I remember that.
That's early in the game, bro. Yo, Spec, man, we got to get into a little bit of my favorite segment, man. Put some respect on my name. That's
do it.
When you let us know if you got respect. Respect you.
My name come up, respect.
Get right to it.
I'm playing with my name.
Chris Rock, he did a stand-up this weekend. You said you haven't had a chance to check it out. It was called Selective Outrage. And there was some selective outrage because, you know, obviously he addressed the slap with Will Smith. He called Jada Pinkett a bitch.
In the stand-up?
At a point, yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people actually I heard was upset about that. And it's like, it's a comedian. Like, what do you... you know what I'm saying? Like, is he not supposed to use vulgar language? Like...
I mean, yeah, okay.
I don't want to ruin it for you or anybody out there who hasn't seen it, but I think just one part that he had in there that stuck out was that Will Smith did the red table talk with Jada, and that it was a pretty awkward situation to have to be in.
Okay.
And he couldn't really understand why he would even do that. Like,
this is post slap or
no? Remember? No. He did the red table talk when August Alsina that came out with and Jada Pinkett. Yep. And I did think it was weird. It was an awkward interview at the time, and I really to this point don't really even know why they did it. Like,
they did it to address the rumors, I guess.
Yeah, but to me, I'd be like. And it's easy to say from this standpoint or in retrospect, but I'd be like, because August Alsina came out and said something, and like he had said something right initially, and then they felt like they had to come out. I kind of would have just not addressed it, and then also kind of feel like you don't have to show up everywhere with your wife. Like you don't have to put it in a situation where people would even bring it up or ask you like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it's none of their business. Like if y'all good and y'all healed what y'all supposed to heal. Then, like, she don't gotta come to award shows with you. Like, it's not, I don't know, like, I don't think that's an insult to her to be like, let me just go handle this on my own. Like, a lot of stars don't necessarily be there with I think they significant other. So it's like, yeah, this happened. We had a rocky part of our relationship. You did what you had to do. The person you decided to do it with was a little bit irresponsible with the information and went out and decided to do it. And not as a punishment, but because you chose to do that at that time when we wasn't together, maybe like as I go out to these public events, you should probably stay the fuck home. You know what I mean? Because we don't got instead of doing a weird interview, because basically the point of Chris Rock's thing is like
in our eyes, you got cheated on, and now you're doing an interview with the person that did it, and it's like that's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, just it's cool that you accept. Like most people, like not most, but a lot of people got cheated on and took the person back. Right. You wouldn't be the first person ever. It doesn't sound like you really got cheated on. It sounded like I kind of took
it was an agreement.
Yeah, like a separation from y'all situation, but we didn't even have to know that. Like. Because y'all already lived the innuendo. Remember, everybody was talking about.
But that's what we always thought that they had like some
open type of thing. Yeah, so let people just keep. You don't gotta like do things for people. And I think that they was like oversharing. It's like we don't need to keep some things close to the vest. You know what I'm saying? And but I guess the bigger thing, and I'll give you a chance to
for ratings.
Yeah, but I hope not. That's crazy. I hope not. But no, the cool thing I'd say without and I want you to be able to experience the stand up on your own. But the cool thing I'll say about it and what Chris Rock did, and I feel it's kind of two ways about it. I'm kind of actually still torn, but it's like for something to happen a year ago, and then really be able to like keep it close to the vest, and then not talk about it. And obviously he was touring, so he was able to work it out and talk about it. But for mass consumption. A year later, in a Twitter era where the former president had Twitter fingers, most people, when something happens, you know what I mean, you get the urge to pick up a phone and just tweet. I think to keep that close to the vest for a year is incredible. Like that, and then to profit off of it because you didn't run straight to like the first talk show. I'm sure he got offers from people who want to do one-on-one interviews with him, and he got the bag from Netflix. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was smart. Turned it into a spectacle, a whole live event where everybody's gonna be watching at the same time and talking about it. I think that's just genius. I think the only reason that I'm a little bit torn on it is like I can't be mad about something for a whole year. I think, and I've never been slapped in the face. I've never been embarrassed the way Chris Rock has been, but I'll just let it slide.
I don't know that he was mad about it for a whole year. He probably got over it. But obviously you're performing it, so you know you're gonna. You
gotta have a level of vitriol. Right, yeah, that's true.
So I doubt at this point. Like I don't. I mean, I can't speak for him, but I don't know who holds on to shit.
I think I don't. Like I said, I've never been had someone walk up to me and hit me in the face in a room, or in a position where I felt like I couldn't do anything back to him. So like, I can't tell him how to feel. Like, but. I would have gotten over it, or I would have had to come just for my own soul. Like, I can't be mad at something for that long, you know what I'm saying? But I think, like I said, back to my original point, I do think it's genius that he found a way to profit of it in an era where we just talk about shit, you know what I'm saying, right away. But do you got respect for that? Or like you said, you got a little bit of speculation. You think, like, I don't know, like he should have not done it in this way? Or
no, I mean, I got complete respect for it. I mean, I seen Chris Rock perform in June. Okay. June of 22.
Okay.
And you know he was even saying back then because people wanted him to talk about it, and he was like, "I'm gonna talk about it at the right time."
So in that he doesn't talk about it at all when you seen him.
No, he wasn't. He didn't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
He didn't. I mean, he may have said like, yeah,
little like shots,
like. Literally, maybe one joke.
Yeah,
that's like nothing crazy. And he said, I'm gonna have a lot to say about it at some point. Like he said that.
Okay.
And so, like this was a plan.
This was the one point.
And I think even though I haven't seen it yet, I've heard a lot about it. And it sounds like it was perfectly executed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it up to him.
I didn't like
because I feel like had he come out immediately. I feel like he's going to capitalize better this time than had he just initially, fed us with his take on the situation.
Oh, 100%. That's why it's genius. That's why it's like I'm going to do the opposite of what everybody's doing in this Twitter world, in this run to the phone world. No, I don't know how the reception was because it's a live event, right? Like you've seen comedy live in big venues. You see them in smaller venues too, I'm imagining, right? Yeah. So the bigger you make it, the more of different opinions you got. And to do something where millions of people are watching you do a live stand-up at one time, it's not going to be for everybody. And some people are just going to run to social media and say, you know what I mean, they're discontent. And then some people, I think if you grew up with Chris Rock, you know his style, you know how he does. And as I've seeing comedians get older, they turn more into like philosophers giving speeches as opposed to like a stand-up comedy that's just out of bang, 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 joke, 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 knock you down, you know what I'm saying? So, and he had some good, like, just points about society and about, you know what I mean, like, stuff that's happened in the news and stuff that's happened. I don't know if the speed of it or the style of it was for everybody, but it's comedy, you know what I'm saying? Some people gonna love it, some people hate it.
It's no different than like you listen to like a rap, like a Jay-Z album, 444 versus Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
Right?
The growth.
It's the growth.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to be talking about the same things, you know. 444, I thought it was a great album, but I know there's going to be some younger people. What the hell was he talking about? Like, I can't rock with that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's no different with Chris Rock. Like, I didn't see Bigger and Blacker like live, but I watched it many times. You know, came out in '96 for all you youngins. Bigger and Blacker is one of my favorite stand-up specials. And I mean is raunchy, but when I seen him last year, I mean it wasn't his stand-up wasn't raunchy. It was, I mean, we'll call it grown-up comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but I still enjoyed it. But I know that I'm sure there was some people who, you know, he's not that funny. You know,
there's like this thing too going on, like he's anti-black, and that's another critique that they said of it, because there were black people that he talks about, but he's also, what's he supposed to talk about? Like
in '96, he had a stand-up Bigger and Blacker. Like, I mean, talk about,
but he made fun of black
somebody,
people. Like every comedian makes fun of black people.
He did a movie about what black people hit. Like he's always
good hair.
I mean,
but no, they're saying he's being critical of black people. And there was a thing, I think, before this came out, even that he kind of makes comedy for white people. And I was like, that I didn't. I think just as success happens in your life, you grow, you get into bigger environments.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and you're not gonna be as
talk
niche
about the things that certain groups may want to hear. Or something. I mean,
no, like you said, and what he brought back, you brought up Bigger and Blacker, was when those HBO specials would come out, it was kind of more of a demand to see it when it first hit. Because niggas gonna ruin the joke at school, or you know what I'm saying. So you want to get it before somebody ruins that joke for you, or you gonna feel left out when everybody laughing at something like, shit, what do you mean toss salad, man? What that mean? What that joke about? So he brought that back. Put some respect on my name. Respect or speculation. Kim Kardashian has a daughter on TikTok. Or I should say better, they have an account on TikTok. I think it's a joint account together, Kim and Northwest. A couple weeks, maybe months ago, Northwest was dressed up like Kanye West. And I think on the post, the song Bound was playing like in the background. And I don't know, some people might have thought it was cute. Some people might have thought it was weird. Some people are like, isn't this what Kanye doesn't want you to do when he says don't put my child on TikTok? Fast forward, I don't want to say she puts. Northwest is on TikTok again, dressed up like Ice Spice.
Okay.
You know who Ice Spice is, right? From the Bronx, young rapper, you know what I mean? She's making a lot of music, attractive young lady. Very suggestive lyrics, which most female rappers make nowadays. And in the video, Northwest is... I think she's mouthing some of the lyrics, and she's dressed up like her. And I just was like, this is weird. One, because I think I also look at Ice Spice as like a sex symbol, which I think a lot of people do. Two, the lyrics are a little bit advanced for a kid her age. Three, I don't really like when people dress kids up like adults, because I feel like that's just like weird predator bait. And then four, I know the biological father of this kid doesn't want the kid to be on TikTok for this one purpose, for this reason. So for me, it was just like really weird. I had a ton of speculation for it. Also, if you're the most famous woman in the world, arguably, why do you need more attention? Like, I don't get what this does for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, let your kid get on social media when she's old enough, mature enough, can handle it on her own. Everything was weird about it. And I think, if I'm not wrong, that Ice Spice actually came over and I think spent some time with Kim and Northwest.
Okay.
Which is also a little weird to me, because your kids are gonna like certain artists, But it's like you ain't gotta just adhere to every wish that your kid asks or request that your kid does. So I definitely have some speculation for it, but I can't tell Kim Kardashian how to raise a kid, and I can't, you know what I mean, like whether she don't care if I like it or not. But even with my own kid, I think I just got certain rules. I would not like my kid to be on social media with her own account before the age of 18.
Right.
Whether that's going to be a reality or not, that remains to be seen. Yeah. But that would be my wish and my hope for it, just because I've experienced what it can do and what it, even to me as a 38-year-old man.
Right.
So I can imagine what it does to a adolescent female. But I guess I'll flip it over to you now. And respect or speculation for Kim Kardashian allowing North West to be on TikTok dressed up as Ice Spice.
Well, I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, I don't want to say I respect it because it's not my preference, right? Mm. Like it wouldn't be my child. But with that said, I know Kim Kardashian. She's been in the limelight forever and a day. So when you tell me this, and this is the first time I'm hearing about this. You
didn't even see it?
No.
Okay.
It's not surprising to me, right? The fact that, her daughter, I'm assuming her daughter enjoys being on TikTok, and, Kim Kardashian, she's a public figure. Mm-hmm. She's enjoyed being in the limelight. So it's not far-fetched to me to hear that this is what she's allowing her child to do. Mm-hmm. As far as, the father not wanting it, that doesn't play at all into my thoughts, because the way I see it, well, if you as the father didn't want that, then you maybe should have had your shit together in a place where, you and the moms are still together. And not to say that it's his fault that they're not together, but what I am saying is once, you're out the house, mm-hmm. and I mean, at the end of the day, she lives in the mother's house. And so it's really the mother's rules. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't, whatever you feel, don't fly.
That's how she dressed
at that
up.
Point.
Just with the wig or
so,
whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And then the outfit was supposed to be like, I guess, this Ice Spice outfit.
Yeah, I know which one it is.
That hoodie that she's wearing or whatever.
Which it's just a hoodie. So I look at that and I see that as, despite it being who it is, kids dress up, if it was Wonder Woman, would we care? No, but it's Ice Spice. I mean, it's not like she's dressed in a thong or nothing. She has on her hair and a sweater, mm-hmm. and so she's covered up. So personally, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. So I just try and put things into perspective, given who her mother is, the history. I look at this as this is what they do, and this is what they'll continue to do. And it wouldn't be me and my child, but that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with another parent and their child doing it, just because it's not for me.
I think it's the oversharing. Like, we don't.
But
why does your kid need an account? That's like, and I'm not telling her not to do it, because I don't have an argument for why. I don't know. She might be a better parent than I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just don't get why your kid would need an account at that age, because there's just so many people out there already paying you so much attention that it's like, to me, it's like keep something to the vest, but close to the vest, excuse me. But I guess I haven't made millions of dollars off of social media.
They don't come off as the type that
keep stuff close to the vest, and they've also profited off of not keeping things close to the vest. And they've also been robbed and at gunpoint and you know what I'm saying? So it's like
people who have kept things close to the vest, they can still get robbed.
You're right.
So, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I
just hope it's not to antagonize Kanye.
Oh well, maybe.
Yeah. That's just weird. That to me is not cool.
It's not cool. Yeah.
And I guess we would hope in all relationships that you would be able to come to an agreement as parents. Like, you're not always going to see eye to eye on something, but I wouldn't do something to disrespect you, and I would hope you would not do something to disrespect me, and it doesn't feel like...
Yeah, I mean, but I think it can go both ways where, like, we've seen he's already done and said things.
And said things that made him lose exactly the rights to have that opinion, or for even people to care what his opinion is.
So yeah.
Spec, we gotta move on. We a little tight on time, man. We gotta move on to my favorite segment.
Have you heard? I hear headlines. I bring them to the table, and I see if you heard about them.
You said you was talking to me a couple weeks ago about Finesse 2 Times.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you're familiar with Memphis rap star Glorilla. Got a couple bangers out there on the radio. They had a concert in Rochester, New York. Unfortunately, 2 people died. There was a stampede that broke out. People, I think it was fear of gunfire or something happening where someone was stabbed that made people just surge towards the exits, and it caused 2 people. Last I heard, of being killed by stampede of people trying to exit. And you hear stories about that all the time. I remember being a kid, my parents just not wanting me to go to certain parties or certain like just concerts because of what happened and the fear of stampedes. But you hate to hear that, one, because it's hip hop and it's young hip hop stars. You know what I mean? And just people going out to watch hip hop shows shouldn't lose their life. You know what I mean? Whether it's Travis Scott with the Astro World or something like this. You know what I mean? There should always be enough security, enough organization in the venue that people should come safely and leave safely, but that's not always what happens. And hip hop music, unfortunately, can bring out a certain crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is on their best behavior. And unfortunately, this is one of the people, and 2 people passed away. But did you hear about that?
I did hear about it. Yes.
It's what do you think? I guess because I just feel like Taylor Swift is not the wrong example because she's a superstar. I'm trying to think who's on her. Olivia Rodrigo. You familiar with who that is? Like she's like a newer star in like the past 2-3 years in terms of like pop music. I feel like I pick her because Glorilla is kind of on the come up, and I feel like in the other genres they don't have to deal with that at their venues and concerts and stuff like that. And it's like, why the hip hop stars got to worry about violence? Well,
we know that. We know the answer. I mean. Listen, it's the culture,
that
right?
Sucks, man.
You go, and this happened in New York. Okay, so let's talk about New York.
Mm-hmm.
You go, let's just say a club in New York or a house party in New York. You may not see people dancing. You see dudes hugging a wall, ice grilling. Like, what you at a party for? If you don't look happy, so what you at the party for? Right? And so it just comes along with the vibe, with the culture, unfortunately. I mean, I really don't know. And, hip hop is obviously the #1 genre, so it's like it's not going nowhere. But the reality is, it's a certain culture is going to attract certain people. And with that is going to come certain things that aren't great, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it
like there's certain artists I will not go see in concert, even if I like their music, just because of the type of crowd that I know that they're gonna bring out. Yeah, it's literally that simple.
Yeah, 100% right, man. What else? I said Sheik Luch. I watched Sheik Luch perform because I was at the venue, I think, with Show. But you're right. I probably would have, if you would have told me that he was performing at that venue that night, I'd probably be like, nah, it's going to be wild up in there. Luckily, this years ago, nothing ever happened, you know what I'm saying? And I've been to, actually, every rap show I've ever been to, nothing's ever happened and occurred. I saw Nicki Minaj perform live in the club. And so it sucks that I've been on the other side and I've been in these venues and I've seen it done correctly. And it sucks to just know you go somewhere and you tell somebody that you want to throw a hip-hop party or you want to hire a hip-hop DJ, you want to bring out a hip-hop act, you're going to be met with like, not, like, you know what I mean, a trepidation because they don't know what crowd that's bringing out, what's that really attracting. Spec, have you heard rapper Travis Scott got caught up in like an assault? Allegedly, he punched a sound engineer and trashed $12,000 worth of equipment at a Manhattan nightclub earlier this month.
Yeah. I didn't hear about that.
New York police said that they responded to a call from Club Nebula around 3:25 a.m. after the sound engineer said he became engaged with a verbal dispute with Scott, which escalated into a physical altercation. I think it was something to the effect, I think the gentleman spoke out about it and said he was trying to get him to turn the music down, I think, like, just so level it out so that it sounds better in the club. And Travis Scott gave him the middle finger. and then he turned the music down. I think on the monitors, but no, I don't think it was actually in the club. I think he turned it down because full disclosure, like if you DJ, you hear everything out there at an echo.
Okay.
Because of the acoustics, and then it's pushing out that way, so you're kind of hearing it delayed. So usually you'll have a speaker inside the booth with you that'll let you be. It's called a monitor that lets you hear it at a better speed, at a better rate. And he said he turned down that so he could talk to Scott. And I think maybe Scott thought he turned everything down, and then that's when the physical altercation happened. Yes, now he was wanted for questioning for assault and criminal mischief. NYPD said the investigation is still ongoing. Yeah, you gotta know. You just gotta know. Like we just said, hip hop already brings out this bad stigma. Why allow to that? And Travis Scott, you should be wanting to stay out of trouble more than anybody. Like that's a little wild, man. But have you said you didn't hear about that?
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, you gotta know. You gotta know when to say when. But or just not be out. If you can't,
well, he's a public figure, so that that's not an option. Being out, you gotta perform, So it's tough in the moment. I could see where in that situation, I'm performing and I perceive that you just shut down my shit. That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, but and
I'm already turned up.
It depends what you got to lose, right? And I guess maybe in these situations,
but you have to think these people that.
They used to get in their way.
Right.
They used to everybody like rolling out the red carpet.
So you're not thinking, oh, well, I'm really going to get in trouble for this. I can only imagine how many altercations or situations that any of these stars may have been in versus if it was you or I, it'd be a much bigger issue versus them.
You're 100% right. Spec, have you heard? NFL former player, Zach Stacy. He was that guy that we saw in that video. He threw his ex-girlfriend into the flat screen, I think in the same room with the baby, and verbally assaulted her even after doing that. It was one of the hardest videos to watch, you know what I mean, especially if you didn't have a trigger warning before that. He only got sentenced to 6 months in jail. That is crazy. Attorney. Yeah, that's a great attorney. But it's just sad that you could see something that graphic, that violent, and 6 months of the number that is on the other side of that.
Well, I mean, I don't know what his if he has like a criminal background or anything like that, but let's just say if this is a first time offense, I mean, then that's kind of warranted the time.
Well, he made a plea deal.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. If he pleaded to it, so
yeah. They were trying to get a year for him in jail. He ended up getting 6 months in jail, 2 years probation, along with counseling and other programs. And I don't wish for anyone to get locked up. I wish for people to get healed and not react like that. But it is, I don't think, enough of a deterrent to see something like that violent, that crazy, and then know that the gentleman that did that only got 6 months. You know what I mean?
Well, this time around. Now, I'm sure if he was to do it again, it won't be just 6 months. And so... And
6 months in jail is not anything to sneeze. I don't want to do 6 months in jail. Right. You know what I mean? And
again, if we're talking, like, I don't know, like I said, if he has a past, but if it's your first offense, you should not get the book thrown at you for your first offense. I think, the 6 months, 2 years probation, mandatory classes. I do believe in the attempt to rehabilitate and not just throw away the keys. Because then I think you're just creating an even bigger problem. Us as human beings, we do have the ability to learn, some better than others, but I do think you have to at least give that opportunity. Otherwise, you won't know who's gonna learn from their mistakes or not. Yeah. So I don't ever want to see stuff like that. But at the same time, everybody does deserve a second chance.
We'll see if hopefully we don't see Zach Stacy again in this situation.
Right.
Yeah, gotta handle your business, man. Lil Uzi Vert, Spec, have you heard? Lil Uzi Vert performed at Rolling Loud. And a lot of people have some things to say about his performance. I'll show you some video from it. We can pull up here. So this is Uzi before. I'm getting a little faded. Hitting that vape. But you see his eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, does this sound?
Hitting that vape hard.
Hitting that vape hard, bro. Eyes looking crazy.
I gotta get super fucked up before getting on stage.
The outfit, the fit is crazy too. The fit is like, but there was a lot of what people perceived as devil worship going on in this, because he has like the pentagram belt. I don't know if you can see his hair is all spiked up. I think this has sound.
888.
And Summer Walker had came out making comments about it.
But like, what did she say?
Just about, is it too close to devil worship? She said, I'd be genuinely curious, have these people ever seen or heard a demon before, or is it just a trend? I feel like if you really did, you stop playing, believe nothing funny or cute about it. May God be with y'all. Because actually, when he's singing, that's the lyrics right here. I make a city girl believe in Satan, and he's like kind of chanting it as he's jumping up and down.
I make a city girl believe in Satan. I don't get the.
Well, he dates JT,
Right.
She's in the City Girls,
Right.
and I guess he's trying to say like he's into that. Like,
And if he is, well, that's his business.
he's always played around with the idea of devil worship.
Man, this is another classic situation. Just mind your fucking business. If that's what he's into, like, so what? Like, don't push your religious beliefs on people. Like, if that's what he want to do, that's what he want to do. That's his business. Get over it.
If I had to take a guess, I'd say he's profiting off not profiting. He's because what he's always done is people have like had rumors about it, and he's never come out and just said no, I don't, or yes, I do. So he's kind of working off of your debating, is he or is he, is he not?
And that's cool on his behalf. That's smart on his behalf. Keep people guessing. That keeps people curious.
It does. And I guess why I would have any issue with it. I'm a fan of Lil Uzi Vert. I don't like listening to shit where niggas talking about devil. Like,
I don't even understand anything he'd be talking about. So I don't just like. I'm not.
He's like, it's just all music. It don't sound like mumble rap to me.
It does. Right, so it's like.
I seen that I Just Wanna Rock video performed. What was it? No, he was maybe when he was at the Grammys. He had come out and did a little bit of it. No, I seen him performing somewhere, and I was just like, something little. The way people just like get kind of weird for it, and the way that he like.
I mean, if you look at that, like that song, like it's
chanty. It's like, and it's using these weird piano synths like that are kind of like scary piano.
And there's no real lyrics to the song.
Yeah.
So
it seems like you're just saying gibberish.
So if you're gonna perform it, I mean, how do you have it? How he performs is right, in my opinion, for the type of song it is. I mean, because there's not lyrics to like follow really. I mean, there's a couple of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But aside from that, it's the beat, it's the tempo, and I can't speak for anybody else, but I can feel you feel
it's catchy,
and it's like, and it makes you wanna do all of these gyrations.
It's catchy. It really is.
So I think what he does for it makes sense.
Hold on, I want to see. This joint was catchy too. The City Girl one. Hold on, put it up on my phone so you can hear it. That shit catchy as fuck. That nigga make some catchy ass music. But you can't. I don't be walking like the same way you was like halfway through an R. Kelly song. I was like, oh shit. I ain't trying to be walking down the street just
I mean
Tim be like, what have I been singing for the past 5 minutes? I'm out here wilding out like Uzi, bro. Like,
man, no, just it was just one of those people are always gonna have opinions. I mean, but
how do you feel like Sam Smith did something like kind of, I guess, devil related when he performed at the Grammys? Sam Smith is like a think he's non-binary. So I was like, they are non-binary, and I think he's gay, or they are gay. And Lil Nas X had the video, and he had performances where he kind of alluded to the devil thing. Like, I can see homosexual or even marginalized groups maybe leaning to that because of the way that Christianity has kind of like been like, well, if you're gay, you're not in. It's like you push them towards that kind of to like lean on those lines because you kind of told them that they're going to hell because of who they feel they are or what they feel. You know what I mean? And that I think is I think religion. I have my own views about like religion and spirituality and the difference of it, but I think that's somewhere where religion kind of like slipped up, because how could you to push on one hand in accepting religion and we taking all and you committed sins, we forgive you, but then you go look at somebody else and be like, well, you're going to hell because you're gay. Like, that's nuts to me, and I feel like I can't blame a Sam Smith or a Lil Nas X. And like I said, I don't even watch like Exorcist movies. Like, I'm just not. There's no reason for me to even go close to that type of stuff. But I can see why those marginalized groups feel like that represents them a little bit more, even if they want to kind of play along those lines, you know what I'm saying, and not maybe fully go into that, and yeah.
And I mean, even if not to even get that deep, like if they want to believe in Satan, why not? Why can't they?
I think it's the worshiping of Satan.
Well, if you a god, a holy roller, you worship God, don't you?
Yeah.
So what's wrong with them worshiping Satan? People worship Allah. People worship.
Oh, you're saying like be accepting of everybody, no matter what it is that they worship.
What are we talking about here? I mean, and this is just my perspective. Like, there's room for everybody. There's space for everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm no bigot. Like, even racist, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not. There's space for racists. Mm-hmm. They're not my cup of tea, but I'm not like, you don't belong on this earth. There's no space for you. Like, there's space for everybody.
You know what? That's actually a super accepting idea. And I was making this point.
I'm just not gonna listen to you because you're not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that simple.
I think a lot of people are also scared to be influenced. Right? They're scared of their own gullibleness.
That's a personal problem.
No. But I think it's not only in this situation where people listen like, oh, well, you're talking about devil music. If I let my kids listen to this, my kid's gonna be
possibly
like homosexuality. I think is that type of thing. People are like, oh, well, why do you have gay characters on TV or this? You're gonna influence my kid to be, you're gonna influence. And I feel like, to your point, is a different way that I ever looked at it, because I'm like, oh, if it's devil, push it out, devil related, you got to push it out. But you're saying, like, to each his own. If that's what you choose to do. And I agree with you, because, like, we were talking about Michael B. Jordan on the last episode and how people try to clown him because he dates white girls. And I'm like, who gives a fuck who he sleeps with? Like, who cares who he sleeps? I don't care if you a man and you sleep with men, women, whatever it is you do behind closed doors. But I don't get why. Like, why do you care? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, did he do something to make you feel bad? Like, who cares if he messes? Because that girl came out and was like, if you date white women, you are corny or something. Like, the one who originally called him corny. I don't know. You heard about the situation with L'Oreal. Yeah. He thought it was L'Oreal who said it, and it was another girl on the podcast. And then she doubled down on it. She was like, if you date white women, you're corny. It's like, why do you care why you care who he messes with? Like, that makes no sense. And to your point, why do I care what Uzi Vert does on Sunday or whatever his Sabbath day is?
That's how, in my opinion, that's the biggest problem, whether it be the country, the world. Like, if what I do doesn't make you shit, do you care? Why do you care? Yeah. I'm not saying, you can't have an opinion, but like, people, like, they put feeling into, like, why do you care?
Yeah.
Like,
even there's a transgender debate, and there'll be like certain words that I think, the transgender community doesn't want people to use. I heard something like, instead of breastfeeding, say chest feeding or something like that. And the whole thing is like, call it what you want. You know what I'm saying? Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't correct me if I am going to call it what I've traditionally have wanted to call it, because I'm making allowances in my conversation with you, right? If I always knew you as he, and now you want me to be referred as she, I'm probably going to make some slip-ups, and then eventually we're going to get to a point where I will refer to you as she or they. So because I can do that, you got to make some allowances with me. Like, I know it is breastfeeding. Right. I know it as like, I call that a female. I call that a woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it to make someone else feel bad. you use your terms, I use my terms. You know what I'm saying? And we just don't use terms to offend each other.
Yeah, it's just like I was having a conversation with Thalia, and she's telling me how now like handicap is starting to become a problem, and I'm
like a bad term, they don't want to use the term.
And I'm like, that shit is everywhere.
Yeah,
like we use it for
so explain that a little bit more.
Nothing to do with people with disabilities.
Yeah, it's like you have a handicap. It's not your strength.
We use it for that. Yeah. I mean, it's the handicap sign. I mean, it's everywhere.
So explain what they would rather us use a different term.
Yeah, but when I forgot what she said. The term disabled, maybe. She just said like handicap is just kind of like derogatory.
In the same way, like little people, we use
like,
little people as a form to what we use for.
And things of that nature.
And so, like they want that to kind of be like phased out.
Yeah,
handicap? Doesn't disabled mean this? I think disabled seems like like a synonym, right? Yeah. But I'm not in that group, right? In the same way, I can look at you and be like, well, I can use the N-word, but I'll get offended if a white person uses the N-word, and that makes zero sense. But that's what I'm in the group, and I'm allowed to feel like that. You know what I'm saying? So, the same way I can feel like that, I can't tell handicapped or disabled people how to feel if they are offended by a certain term.
Right.
I think the only reason that I would care is because it's not what I'm used to. So now I got to put added effort.
Well, that's really when I hear, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's just too much. It's just too much. It's too much.
It's too much.
Like, I just want to have a regular old conversation. Like, I think we need to get back to focusing on the meaning behind the words versus just the words.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, did I mean, like, if you and I having a conversation and it's just a regular old conversation, I don't believe the words that I don't know, drop certain words and you understand what I'm talking about. So
it's like if I heard a white person use the N-word, but they meant it as a term of endearment and they weren't calling me that.
I'm not gonna.
Am I gonna stop the whole conversation to be like, "Oh, you shouldn't use that word," or am I just gonna understand what you meant in context as opposed to, it's that is true, 100%. Speaking of Michael B. Jordan, have you heard Creed 3 posted the best opening weekend of all time for a sports movie?
Okay,
that's huge. I was telling Keith, I've never seen a Creed. I've never seen any of them.
I seen one several times. I seen 3/4 of 2 last week when I was in Puerto Rico.
Okay. And you're gonna watch 3 when you get a chance?
I mean, I would like to, but I say that about hundreds of movies, and I never watch them. But it's something I would be interested in seeing at some point. Yeah, because I like I said, I liked the first one. I watched it several times. The second one, it was cool.
It's rated like it's getting good critic scores.
I like when they keep the same characters in movies.
So you like a John Wick 4? Like you like you're saying like.
Well, I've never watched John Wick, but I like when the characters stay the same. Like,
so you can watch them grow, kind of like it's like a TV show. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, it's instead of a one-time story. No, that is if it's done well,
and it depends.
If it's done well, yeah. Right? Some sequels are just forcing.
I don't want to see Creed 3 with Kevin Hart or something like that.
Got you. Oh, you mean like the actor with a different actor?
Yeah, like a cast, the crew.
Yeah. Well, so he made Creed 3 made $58.6 million domestically and $100 million globally. That's the franchise's biggest opening yet. I think Creed first came out was $29.6 million. Creed 2 made $35.5 million opening weekend. So that's huge because it's Michael B. Jordan's directing debut.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah. So big things for Michael B. I heard Tyler Perry is getting ready to buy BET. Or at least it's just rumored. So have you heard? How rich is Tyler Perry?
That dude is.
Is it? Yeah.
Swimming in it.
I know he's really. I thought he already owned BET. But I think BET Plus. I heard he owns a percentage of that.
I know he has to own it because he has a bunch of shows.
Yeah, that's why I thought. I thought I don't watch BET, but every time I flip by it, it's one of his shows playing.
Yeah, no, he's right now. He's a big part of what they're doing.
He doesn't have his own channel.
Yeah, he has his own production company,
but not his own channel.
No, he doesn't have his own.
So he used to have stuff on like Oprah's channel. Okay,
and then now BET.
Yeah. Now that'd be dope for Tyler Perry.
And I'm sure at some point he'll have his own fucking shit because he has his own studios, production. All
I know he has
stuff.
the big studio in like Atlanta. Like he bought
studios. Like it. I mean, like you know how Warner Brothers in L.A. I mean, he has Tyler Perry, massive campus.
That's dope, man. Have you heard? Snoop Dogg is going to put Death Row's catalog back on streaming services. About a year ago, in like April, Snoop Dogg took Death Row's music off of like the top platforms for streaming, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, what have you. And said he wanted to start his own movement, his own like Death Row Plus kind of thing, where we pay a subscription to listen to Death Row music. Not sure why he changed his mind, but I remember at the time not thinking that was the brightest idea, because there's too many streaming services now. And it's like, do I really want another one just to listen to the Chronic?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And it I don't know. It just didn't seem. And I know ownership is great. I think in the black community for us to have more ownership of our music, but it's like that just doesn't seem like the move because it's too niche.
It's too.
Yeah, maybe you're gonna have like West Coast artists on there also of some way, shape, or form, but. I think, like, I felt... And
how much music would have actually been on there?
So you would have had Snoop's first 2 albums, Doggy Style, then The Dog Father. It would have had Tupac's All Eyes on Me. I'm assuming The Chronic, because...
He couldn't have pulled Well, you say he pulled everything off last year?
That's what they said, yeah.
Oh, okay.
In about April, yeah. Because I remember actually going to look for, like, certain, like, albums, certain songs from The Chronic and stuff like that, and it wasn't on there. And you couldn't find any of his music. And then artists like, no offense, they were great artists, but like the Dog Pound, Lady of Rage. Like I'm not paying $5.99 a month for multiple to listen to that. So it's just like you got to find another way to do it. Like
there's on Death Row, there's maybe like 3 or 4 albums that
and that you own already either on CD or MP3 right now. Anyway, so even when Jay-Z, we know how new that. Just when Jay-Z put his music back on like Apple Music and Spotify, it was like you're losing out on money, bro. Like motherfuckers want to listen to this shit. And you're watching other artists streaming and doing crazy numbers, right? Going right past you. So and then Snoop did that like right after they had the Super Bowl bump from performance. So it definitely didn't seem like a bright move. But glad to see us back on streaming services, and I will be rocking out to some of that. Spec, another episode in the book, my brother. I appreciate you coming through.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Death Row. They're right there behind you too. Speaking of that, where can my people find you out on social media?
Can't yet, people.
Yep,
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day, man. No, he ain't like Northwest. He ain't got no account, man. But you can find your guy, DJ Playboy, on Instagram at Pliccapeezy, PLICCAPEEZY, on Twitter at DJ Playboy. Follow Perfect Talk Podcast on Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio. Also follow us on Twitter at Perfect Talkers. New account we just started. So go run it up. Run them numbers up. You can also find us on YouTube. Make sure you check out every episode on there. Spec, what you want them to do?
Smash that like button.
Hit that subscribe button. Also turn them notifications on because you can know every time we drop an episode every week. It's coming right to you. Every episode is also available on our website, www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. Every episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast, my radio show, The Night Shift, and the radio show I do with my brother, DJ Show, Money Talks Radio. Go check that out. Episode 28 out right now. Also, check me out every Wednesday with my homegirl, Ayo Niche. Follow her on Instagram at Ayo Niche. We do Ayo Niche and Friends every Wednesday night live stream right there. So go check that out because that's real entertaining as well. Every episode of Perfect Talk Podcast available Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Trying to get us on more platforms, but wherever you can find them right now, go find them. Leave a rating, leave a like, leave a review, because the algorithm loves that. And keep coming back. We're going to keep doing the damn thing for y'all. Spec, I know you said you took a little break from watching stuff on TV. Anything you watching now? Or you back in the basketball as it's getting closer to playoffs or not?
Nah.
I haven't been watching nothing. As soon as football ended, I just kind of took a break.
Yeah, I don't really be watching. The TV sometimes be on, but I don't be watching it.
Yeah. I cut off the YouTube, right? I was paying for YouTube TV. I cut that shit off right after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I was like, I just didn't care about anything. And it's so, I have a different relationship with television because I think, Obama's entire presidency, I don't think I had cable. at least his second, you know what I'm saying, the second term. I think I had first moved in, and I went like several years without having cable.
Right.
So I just kind of got not used to television, and then I started making a lot of mixtapes back at that time. And I think I just realized how much more content I can make when I'm not being consumed.
Right.
So now I'm kind of at a weird place where like I kind of want to get into some shows, but I just don't, because I'm like, this takes up a lot. You know what I'm saying? Making these and then getting the YouTubes out, and it takes up a lot of time, and I don't mind it. I love doing it. So it's I don't even feel like I'm missing out on anything. But you also got to have that work-life balance when you know when to shut down and be like, all right, I'm gonna watch a TV show. So I'm in a weird place with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's not intentional that I don't watch it. It's just like nothing calls me, and there's more important things to do.
That's
and
way too much.
it's just kind of like
right.
with those two factors, it's just like the TV just takes a back burner.
I'm listening to a new audio book. It's called The Art of Impossible, and you're just talking about this, how to like really master anything, that whatever your impossible is. So like, it's big on goal setting. It's big on dedicating a certain amount of time to mastering your craft and doing that, being around people that help you, and really shutting out the distractions. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to be great at something, you want to learn how to play an instrument, want to learn how to do something. I think he said he got into it because he was around extreme sports. Remember when the X Games first came out? Mm-hmm. He was like one of the first reporters for extreme sports. And he would see these guys doing shit that was impossible one day, and then the next day, that was the norm. Like, you know what I'm saying? One dude does it, then all the other dudes is like, yo, they can do that? Humans can do that now? And he's like, there's something inside of us that certain people can unlock to always have that push and that desire to push the impossible.
It's all about how bad you want it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's a cool book. It's cool. You read anything new or anything new?
No, just yeah.
Just vacation spec.
Yeah, I haven't gotten back to my normal routine since being on vacation. Like I said, it's just been a real busy work week.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm ready for the season change, man. I need that warm weather in my life. But if you haven't done it already, by the time y'all see this, daylight savings time to pass. So make sure you go fix your clocks. I'm sure you ain't fixing the cars and none of that yet. So go do what you got to do.
Show up late to work.
You know what I'm saying? About to lose that hour. But we up out of here, man. Spec, say goodbye to the people.
Deuces.
Peace.